Long ago there stood an ancient, abandoned village, a ghostly place filled with empty houses, silent streets, and deserted shops. Time had forgotten it, but it had not remained lifeless for all, for this lonely village had become the perfect home for a colony of mice. The mice had lived happily in this area for hundreds of years, even before humans came to build their homes and later left them behind. Yet it was only after the people were gone that the mice truly began to thrive. They dug tunnels through the old houses and crumbling buildings, weaving a secret world beneath. The ruins, a network of passages that allowed them to move freely and safely, untouched by danger. One day, a mighty herd of elephants swept through the village, thousands of them, marching together on their way to a vast lake that lay to the west. All the elephants could think about was how wonderful it would feel to plunge into that clear, sparkling water and enjoy a long, refreshing swim. But as they passed through the village, they never realized the destruction their enormous feet were causing beneath them. The ground trembled, tunnels collapsed, and chaos spread through the hidden world below. The homes of the mice were crushed and broken. What a disaster the elephants left behind. Soon after, the mice gathered for an urgent meeting. One of them stood up and said, "If the herd passes through here again, our entire community is doomed. We won't survive another day like this." There was only one thing left to do. A group of brave little mice decided to follow the trail of giant footprints that led all the way to the great lake. There, by the shimmering water, they found the king of the elephants himself. One of the mice stepped forward, bowed respectfully, and spoke on behalf of the others.
"Your Majesty, I come to you as a messenger of the mice who live near this lake. In that old abandoned village, your herd passed through."
The elephant king raised his head and said,
"Of course, I remember that village, but I had no idea a community of mice lived there."
The mouse continued,
"Your herd destroyed many of the homes we've lived in for hundreds of years. If you return the same way, it will surely be the end of us. We are small and you are mighty, but I beg you, great king, to choose another path when you go home. And who knows,"
the mouse added with a faint smile,
"perhaps one day we might be able to help you too."
The elephant king let out a deep laugh and said with a hint of amusement,
"How could such tiny creatures ever help the mighty elephants?"
Yet despite his laughter, he felt a pang of guilt for the harm his herd had done without realizing it. At last he said kindly,
"Do not worry, little one. I will lead my herd home by another way. Now return to your village, and let us enjoy our swim in peace."
Meanwhile, there was a king who ruled the land not far from the great lake. One day he ordered his soldiers to capture as many elephants as they could. Knowing that the herd came from distant lands to bathe and play in the lake, the soldiers devised a clever trap, a hidden water pit beneath the surface. So when the elephants, full of joy, rushed into the lake to splash and swim, they were caught in the trap one by one. Within moments, the entire herd was trapped, trumpeting helplessly as the water around them churned with panic and fear. 2 days later, the hunters returned. With thick ropes, they dragged the helpless elephants out of the lake and tied them to the trunks of giant trees in the forest nearby. Once the hunters left, the Elephant King tried to think, how could they ever break free from these ropes? All of them were bound tightly, except for one young elephant who had not entered the lake. He was the only one still free. The king called out to him and said,
"Go, my friend, run to the old abandoned village and ask the mice who live there for help."
The young elephant hurried away, and when the mice heard of the king's plight, they rushed toward the forest without hesitation. When they arrived and saw the great elephants bound by ropes, they scattered quickly and began gnawing at the thick cords with their sharp little teeth. Soon the ropes snapped one after another until at last the entire herd was free again. The elephants trumpeted with joy, and the air was filled with the sound of gratitude and friendship. The elephant king thanked the mice with all his heart for their courage and kindness. True to his promise, he led his herd home along a new path, far from the village of the mice. From that day on, the elephants and the mice lived in peace and happiness for many years, bound by a friendship that proved no creature is too small to make a difference.